Hey, this is V, and you're listening to Bite Size Book Reviews. Over the last few days, I've been reading a book called The Improbability of Love by Hannah Rothschild. So, the name of this book is also the name of the painting around which this book revolves. The main character, Annie, is a woman who got divorced from her husband about 1 year ago and is kind of having a hard time getting back on her feet. She's currently working as a chef for two art dealers in London. And when she's preparing for a potential date, she decides to buy this painting that she likes from an old junk shop. This action sets into motion a lot of really complicated events that she really couldn't have foreseen. So I call Annie the main character of the story because she is the one that the story keeps returning to, and also because her purchase of the painting is essentially what sets everything in motion. But this story actually touches on the lives of a lot of different characters. So just as an example, there's Annie's mother, who is a semi-recovering alcoholic. There's a painter and tour guide who works at an art gallery whose paintings sort of remind Annie of the painting that she recently purchased. So he develops feelings for her and decides to help her try to track down the provenance of her painting. We have the head auctioneer at an auction house whose business is doing really poorly and is desperate to find some way to I guess get some more funding, I guess, for his family and stuff before he retires. We have the director of an art gallery who's also running low on funds to keep his gallery open and to pay his staff for the work and stuff that they have to do. We have a Russian who was recently exiled from his home country and is desperately trying to make sure to make enough payments to prevent himself from getting assassinated. There's the two art dealers that Annie works for who are suspiciously interested in getting their hands on the painting that she bought. And this is really just a sample of the characters that this story touches on. So something that's a little bit unusual about this book is that there are actually large sections told from the painting's point of view. So a lot of the history of the painting, I guess when it was first painted and why, the people whose hands it passed through, it was owned by everyone from kings and queens to this Jewish family during World War II. You get a lot of this history from the painting's own perspective mixed in with, I guess, some of the philosophies that it has developed over time about people and about relationships. Especially, in regards to its own title, the improbability of love. So it has a lot of speculations on things like love and romance and passion. But yeah, that was something that was a little bit more unusual. Something that was kind of interesting about this book was that it gives you a glimpse into the world of fine art, art galleries, art dealers, people who purchase old artworks, and this is kind of a world that's pretty mysterious to me. I think my feelings are pretty much encapsulated by this one scene with the Russian character where he's talking about how he's just really baffled by the fact that there's this person trying to sell him what's essentially to him a piece of graffiti by a dead street artist, and for some mysterious reason this piece of graffiti is worth more than his entire house. And I think this kind of shows, just how strange and bizarre I think the art world can be to people who aren't a part of it. You also get to learn quite a bit about how the art world works in terms of how paintings are authenticated, how people try to track down the specific histories of a painting, and how people decide or determine exactly where it came from and who painted it, and the people that it belonged to. So that was definitely kind of something for me to learn about that I found pretty interesting. A heads up though, I guess, in that this is a very long book and it's really more a book about people living their lives. There is the mystery of the painting, but it's kind of a subtle plot line woven throughout the book because there is a large focus on the way a lot of these relationships, I guess, that touch on each other, and the way a lot of these people's actions like affect one another is more about how these people live and the things that they do, and less about like some big overarching plot line. I guess what I'm trying to say is like it's not really the kind of book where uh you know, like where someone's trying to destroy the world, so you have like this one thing that you're driving towards. Is really just a book that has like a lot of snapshots that all come together, and I think that it's kind of nice in one regard, but it was also maybe a little slow sometimes, and it was an extremely long book. So yeah, I guess that's it for this one, and thank you for listening.